Live from the Stream Center in Tampa, Florida, the home of News Channel 8, your official Bucs station. This is Bucs Bonus on WFLA Now, powered by 1-800-ASK-GARY.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in the playoffs, and it's a Week 3 rematch as they take on the Philadelphia Eagles at Raymond James Stadium. Can they pull off the win? Will Baker Mayfield be healthy? What did they learn from Week 3 that they can use on Monday? We have all that and more right here, right now on Bucs Bonus, sponsored by 1-800-ASK-GARY. I'm your host, Aileen Hnatiuk, alongside my teammates in your Bucs Insiders, Dan Lucas and Karen Loftus. Hello. Hi. Guys, foreshadowing events. Devin White called this in Week 3 after that loss. He said, we will see them again.
He did.
He did.
I remember that night. It was so long ago that,
I know, it feels like ages ago.
I love rematches. I love rematches when they come up in the playoffs. Sometimes it happens like with a division team in the postseason, but this was so long ago.
Yeah.
And it was such a weird game to begin with that I don't know if you can really take anything from that first game.
Yeah, it's funny because I was thinking about that because you always want to ask the question that, what did you learn from the first game?
Yeah.
And a couple people asked about it. And I think the big thing about this matchup is like two of the defensive players that spoke today, Antoine Winfield Jr. and Levante David, both said, we need to tighten up our run defense. Antoine said, they gashed us.
Well,
201 rush yards.
Yeah, DeAndre Swift had his second best game. And he was on a hot streak now, in fairness. He had two back-to-back huge games. And then after that game against the Bucs, I believe he ran 130. He didn't get 100 yards the rest of the year. So, and then the Bucs, remember going into that game, what did we talk about? Bucs running defense. No one has run on them through 2 games. Yep. And it was just baffling to watch the Eagles run all over the field. That's what I remember from that night.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things, like you say, okay, we know that they're both different teams. Baker Mayfield said, we didn't even know our identity as an offense then. But that is something that you can take away is like, let's not let that happen again.
Right? Yeah. Speaking of takeaways,
start there.
Let's talk about this recap here with the Panthers. What did you guys like? What did you not like?
Defensive shutout.
They got through it. They got through it alive. They won the game. I don't really the number 9.
They won the game.
We could sit here and we dissect the offense all we want. I think early on you saw where this game was headed, and this was going to be on the defense to just finish the job. I think the Bucs they took a knee down there. They could have scored a touchdown if they wanted to, like Jameis.
Oh man!
At the end of the game, but they got
we won't
through.
Go there.
They needed to win. What they needed to do was come back and not let that Saints game beat them twice, and I thought they took care of their business. The only concern for me was Baker hurting his ankle. That was the one concern coming out of the game for me.
Yeah. And I'll say that, whenever you have this, and I always say this, it's like it's easier to look at the film when you win.
Right.
So now they have a bunch of drives on offense, or 3 and outs, if you will, that they can look at on tape and say, okay, X, Y, and Z didn't work.
Right.
Let's not replicate some of those things.
You know what you just made me think of by saying that? I remember asking Bruce Arians once, can you learn, what can a loss sometimes benefit you when you go back and watch the film and really expose some things? And he goes, oh yeah, no doubt. He goes, I can also learn a lot from a close win.
That part, right?
Exactly.
And I think that's where we are. Yes.
Right, exactly. So,
yes,
they got the close win part,
and that's a confidence boost for the defense to get that shutout. Yes, it was against a 2-win team, but
a win
guys
is a win.
are playing for things, right?
Yeah.
So I think that was big for the defense. And you heard, I think it was the Bucs posted that video of Tristan saying afterwards, he's like, thanked the defense and said, we know we have to score more points. So when you have that in the locker room, and it's like acknowledging that the other side of the ball carried the team in that game, and like we understand we need to pick up our end, I think that can be a very galvanizing thing.
And I think if you want to go on rematches, let's call them. I mean, it was the rematch from the previous Carolina game where Chuba Hubbard had a pretty big day against the Bucs at Ray J, and they contained him, in the season finale. And the Panthers were trying to run too. This was a 1-score game pretty much the entire day. So it wasn't like the Panthers were chasing and throwing.
Yeah, shout out Chase McLaughlin.
So yeah, that was big.
Those
that
three
was
field
big.
goals.
Yeah, absolutely. 57-yarder.
Man.
Yeah, make it look like it's no big deal.
Like nothing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's
That was
special
an
for
extra
sure.
point for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think, you can take some of the things defensively from that Carolina game and apply them to how is this team better and better equipped to face an Eagles team that came here and pretty much had its way offensively in week 3. And that's where I think the tide could change in favor of the Bucs, if the Bucs defense comes out ready to go.
Yeah, no, I think it says a lot about the Bucs too, bouncing back from the Saints game, like you guys said. It was one of those questions where, is this Bucs team this good? Are we seeing a completely changed team that we saw from, losing 6 of 7 or whatever it was, right? And that loss against the Saints, it stung, it hurt. And I really liked to see them bounce back against this Panthers team. And as you said, Karen, 2 wins, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it's the NFL. It's hard to win. We've been saying this all season long. Which Casey Sloan wrote about it on our website at WFLA.com. The Bucs were favored to win 1 game this season. Let's talk about that. Now they're heading to playoffs. Did you guys see this coming when we were here week 1? Did you see this happening? Be honest.
No. And when I won, I remember I can't remember the service that came out from Vegas had odds for the whole season, which I found weird because the NFL season's 4 months and doesn't account for injuries and that. But it was eye-opening. The Bucs, they were favored in just 1 game. I think it was the Atlanta game at home, which they lost. And I said, this team is obviously better than that. But when I went through the schedule and kind of realistically did my best with it, I only found 7 wins. And I thought the 7 wins was pretty darn good, considering what they were going to have to go into this season with the changes and the new offensive coordinator. But they really showed me something. And I think what's really impressive is when things started to go south a little bit there in the midseason, and you had some very difficult losses. The Buffalo game was kind of a wacky loss, ended with them throwing in the end zone. Remember, they all had a chance to win that in a fluky way. The Houston loss was devastating. Yeah. Because the defense gave it up in the last minute. And then the Indianapolis loss too was also frustrating. And I thought to myself, this is how it's going to go down. They're in a must-win situation now. There's no way they can win 5 of 6. And that's what they did. Yeah. It's just really impressive.
I think as the season went along, we were all sort of watching the division.
Right.
And like my expectations for the Bucs making the playoffs were directly tied to how the other teams were doing in the division. It's like, okay, slump, but the other teams in the division are sort of slumping too. This could,
right.
And it could work in their favor. And we saw throughout the course of the season the progress that the offense was making.
Which was so fun to watch.
Yeah. So it's just, can they keep it going? Can they keep trending in the right direction and executing and cleaning up the mistakes? Because I think in that losing streak, there really was a stretch of just a little mistake here and a little mistake there. One person here, one person there.
Devastating. One thing.
Yes.
It was like when one thing went wrong, something went right. When that one thing they wanted to go right, it did go, but then something else went wrong.
How many times, and I can't even remember the specifics. I can picture big plays. There was one big Rashad White run that was wiped out, and a big pass play also wiped out during that stretch. That just frustrates you when you're a Bucs fan sitting at home watching it, and you're thinking, how is this team ever going to get out of this hole? And they found a way out. And you know what? I'll give Dave Canales a nod because he discovered, I just need to get Rashad White active in the passing game a little bit here. Let's help Mike and Chris out that way. Let's try it. Why not? And all of a sudden, Rashad White becomes this dual threat. And what happened? Mike Evans started getting numbers. Chris Godwin started getting numbers. Kudos.
Absolutely. I mean, you talk about a first-time play caller coming to a new team, new weapons, and he really stuck to his guns. And he said that in a recent press conference. Somebody had asked him, did you have any doubts? He's like, of course I did. I thought I was doing everything I could. And then, but I'm going to stick to it. And this is what we're going to do. And he told us early on, he said, it's going to pay off. We're just going to keep doing it.
Even Rashad White's yards per carry got better. Like him as a runner got better with the addition of him in the passing game. And all it was just an outlet to dump it to get 6 yards, and they were getting chunk plays.
I want to dive into more of like what Skip Pete's role has been, the new running backs coach, and like how much he factored into that. I'd love to ask Rashad about his influence and how he's helped along the way too.
The other thing, and it really wasn't talked about much, but the poor offensive play to me began with that Bills loss. And what happened in the Bills game? Tristan Wirfs suffered an injury. It might have been, was it a quad?
He's gotten nicked up a couple times.
But he had to navigate his way through that. And I think when he came out of that, things started to turn around. And we've all said from the start that Tristan Wirfs was going to have to be the anchor for the entire thing.
At a new position.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, let's not forget, he's just been so seamless.
Right.
And I want to make sure nobody forgets that.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that night. He gutted it out in that Buffalo game. I keep going to the Buffalo game because he had, is it Pro Football Focus, I think, does the position rankings.
Yeah. Yep.
He was at the top of the chart, near perfect.
Yep.
And that game, finishing it the way he did, and he was clearly half a Tristan Wirfs. His numbers plummeted, and he was getting some criticism from the national stage. And I thought, did you guys watch the game? The guy could barely walk to the line of scrimmage. Of course, if you're the Bills, why are you not attacking that? And he just had to work his way through it.
Well, you know who has believed in this team all season.
Oh, I have an idea who it is.
Know.
I have an idea.
Buckified Bert. Let's hear from him.
Hello, Aileen and Bucs Bonus crew. Yeah, this is Buckified Bert. Yeah, and I'm ready to talk that talk, mainly because we did what a lot of people didn't think we was going to do. We are in the playoff. We eliminated everybody in the South, and now we the South Division champ. Now, we get a chance to redeem ourselves when we played against the Eagles and take care of business from what they did to us back when they played week 3. They beat us on the day we was trying to celebrate Rodney Barber, and somebody have to pay for that. And guess what? We're playing on Martin Luther King's birthday, and now they're going to find out that I have a dream. I had a dream ever since the Buccaneers got Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield done shake and bake and got us all the way in the playoff, and this is our 4th season in a row. We're the only one in the NFC South that did this. The only one in the NFC division, NFC conference done did this. Yes, I'm very excited, and I can't wait for Monday. Thank you for the birthday shout-out from the Bucs COO, Brian Ford. And, yeah, I'll be there Friday morning to have the pep rally for the Buccaneers and get ready for the Casey Sloan stats of the week. Yeah, it's coming at you good and strong because, yeah, we are in the playoff. A lot of people didn't see it, but, yeah, we there. 3 games away from the Super Bowl. I'm out. Yeah.
Well, we've officially reached the postseason, and given that it's the first postseason episode of the year, I find it fitting that this player of the week is none other than someone who helped the Bucs to reach their playoff goals, and that is Antoine Winfield Jr. He forced his 6th fumble of the season, knocking it out right before the goal line. His forced fumble tied Miami's Bradley Chubb for the most in the NFL this season. Winfield Jr. also finished his NFL Defensive Player of the Year bid with 122 tackles, 6 for a loss, 12 passes defended, 8 quarterback hits, 6 sacks, 6 forced fumbles, and 4 fumble recoveries. So not only did Winfield step up when the Bucs needed him most, I feel like Sunday was a statement game for him after being snubbed out of a Pro Bowl to Cardinals' Budda Baker. I mean, everyone from his dad to analysts to fans even claimed that it was probably the biggest Pro Bowl snub in the NFL. And not only did he match career highs and break records, tying records in the game Sunday, he also helped the Bucs reach a playoff berth, making him this week's Casey's StatChat Player of the Week.
Yes, amazing player to choose for that, Casey. Well done. And yeah, even we are saying, what the heck, biggest Pro Bowl snub ever. Mike Evans said the same thing. But happy birthday to Buckified.
Yeah.
I wonder what he's
Absolutely.
wishing for.
Yeah, right.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah,
Wonder.
gosh. I wonder what that could be. Did he steal
A big
Happy
old
birthday,
win.
Albert.
Did he steal Antoine Winfield's belt for that? That
That's
was-
what I saw. It was
he
like
might
him
have.
and
So, yeah, if you missed
Yes.
this on Wednesday, Antoine Winfield goes to his press conference with one of those wrestling championship belts handed to him
Shout
by
out Good Morning Football.
Yes, Good Morning Football. Our friends at NFL Network presented him. So with that, he was their defensive back of the year or safety of the year, I think is what it was for. to kind of answer. And it was timed right because they wanted to give it to him after the Pro Bowl snub. And then today, the NFLPA came out with its second annual All-Pro team, which is pure player vote. And there are stipulations and rules around this. Can't vote for your own teammates. You can't vote within your position. You can only vote for players you face and get. I read the rules for this. Anyways, Winfield not even acknowledged in that either. So
NFL Defensive Player of the Week.
That's something. That's something. 2 times this year, one of 3 Bucs players ever to get that honor. So good for him.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, consistently just every single week, day in, day out, giving everything he's got, doing the most and doing great at it. Let's talk about injuries. Who could we see on the field Monday? Who could we not see? Obviously, we don't have a report, right? It's Wednesday. It's a Monday night game, which I kind of forgot about in the middle of I was like, let's see what this injury report is. Karen's like, Aileen.
Tomorrow's
there isn't one. It comes
tomorrow
out tomorrow.
Tomorrow's the first one, and I'll tell you, both fan bases are anxiously awaiting the quarterback reports.
Yeah.
Baker's the ribs are there, but it's ankle we're watching.
Yeah.
And Jalen Hurts of the Eagles, his middle finger, which is on his throwing hand, and he avoided a fracture and all that. He's going to give it a go this week. His thing will be a pain tolerance, discomfort type thing. So I'm sure it doesn't feel great.
I couldn't imagine so.
Probably looks amazing today too.
He was talking fine in his press conference.
Yes.
He seemed to be fine. And as you guys know, Baker is one of the toughest players you'll ever see. So I can't imagine he won't be out there. But as Todd Bowles has said, Kyle Trask is ready to go if needed. But I can't imagine that Baker wouldn't be on the field. And before we go, let's just talk about this conference or division rather. Jesus, I'm in like college football mode. And just kind of what we've seen from them this season and what the future holds for maybe each team.
In the NFC South?
In the NFC South.
I think in the offseason coming up, first of all, you have a coaching change in Atlanta to deal with. You got a coaching and a GM change in Carolina. So you're going to have 2 new head coaches next season. So you got to think of this in terms of, you play them twice a year. So are they going to sweep Carolina again? That's on the table because Carolina was not good this year.
Yeah, I think Carolina is going to be not great for the next.
What will Atlanta bring to the table next year? Sometimes a new burst of energy. I think the Falcons underachieved. I thought they were scary good.
They had some really good moments this season.
Before the season started, and we all talked about this, and whose division is this to lose? I said it was the Saints. So New Orleans will be there again. The Bucs will likely be there, but we'll see what Jason Light does with the free agency and his own free agents. But I think it was so encouraging this year by the Bucs that how can there not be momentum in the spring? In the front office to supplement this and get the $35 million of Tom Brady comes off the books, so they do have some money to work with. Tristan Wirfs, Mike Evans, Antoine Winfield, and Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
I mean that's a lot of money.
Yeah, one of the things that's super encouraging for the Bucs going forward is like some of the young players who have played so well. Like Yaya Diaby has been on the highlight reel every week, and Todd Bowles somebody spoke about him recently, and just super impressed with how well he's playing.
How well he's grown.
Leads the team in sacks.
Yeah, so that speaks well to the future of the Bucs, that some of these young players are getting these meaningful reps and doing really well with their time. Yeah,
it's a good point to make because they had to play so many young players and rookies that you didn't know what you were going to get. This is what you got. You got a 9-win team. And now you look at those guys like Diaby, Cansey, Trey Palmer will probably have a better year too. They're under team control. The contracts are not a concern for a season or 2 more. So that's off your plate. And so when you sit there and you look at your depth chart and you're like, okay, what do we have coming back? Those are some nice names.
Even talking about Rashad White, he's just in his 2nd season.
I know.
Right.
There's just been so many storylines this season that we could sit here and talk for hours about all of it.
I would personally be waiting at the end in the hallway with a contract for Levante David.
Agreed.
Let's just re-up every offseason. Levante, you in or out? Okay, here, sign here.
Yep.
That's what I would do. So he's
Yeah.
ready to go. Devin White will be a big question mark this offseason as well. So
no, I think this is the Bucs division when it comes to the future. It's really exciting stuff. And as you guys said, they've got a lot of decisions to make in the offseason. But guess what? It's not the offseason yet. They're still going. And we'll still be going with you guys every single Wednesday. Until then, Aileen Hnatiuk, Dan Lucas, Karen Loftus, and we'll see you guys hopefully next week talking about another win.